Hi everyone, I'm Shauna and welcome to my channel. Today's video is going to be an everyday makeup routine. This particular routine is going to be geared towards those busy mornings, the look that I go to when I need to get out the door real quick. This was basically my routine when I was getting up at 6 a.m. to go to school. So the products in this video and the selections that I'm making are for things that will get you through the entire school year, things that will work for most occasions. And then I have, like the school day and longevity in mind. My commutes are long, you might be a commuter too, and when I'm going to work, when it's time to work, time to go to school, my makeup needs to last. Like it needs to last more than 8 hours. We're talking 10-12 hour days. So those are the ideas or suggestions that are guiding this look in this video. So all the products are going to be linked down in the description box below, and they'll be on the screen as well. I'm going to do a lot of comparisons in this video as well. If I have things, there are certain categories where I just have one and there's no other kind of thing that's comparable or I would be interested in, but when they do exist, I'll show you close-ups of what they look like, what the colors look like, maybe like why I like one more than the other. I don't do a lot of that here, so that'll be nice in this video. But if you're also looking to just like get ready with somebody, this is a great video for that too. I was feeling kind of funny, my shirt was backwards, but have no fear. We have the coffee that is brewing right beside me. Okay, let's get started. When I'm in a rush, and I've done this look on the train and on the bus, so we've been there, I wouldn't use primer. It's not all that necessary most of the time. There's very few primers that I feel like make a difference for my skin. The look that I picked out today and like the steps and things involved, I can do this in 20 minutes or less, but it's gonna be longer today as we talk through it, and I'm not in a rush today. The foundation I'm gonna use today is this one. It's the Covergirl Outlast foundation. It's the Stay All Day 3-in-1 foundation. This does have SPF in it. I'm selecting this foundation over the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless foundation. Here she is. I have this one in the shade 4. It is definitely lighter. This is, quite honestly, on its own a smidge too dark at the moment, but with like powder and things it'll be fine. It's not a horrible match, but it is a little too dark, and that's a natural tan, by the way. There's no self tan or anything on there. But the reason why I'm picking this foundation over the Charlotte Tilbury is that at this time of the year I need more mattification. I just do, and this foundation does have a dry down. It doesn't perfectly mattify and doesn't perfectly dry down, but it does have a dry down more than most foundations. So that alone makes this one a better pick than the Charlotte Tilbury. This one has a more natural look to it, which is good for me for the majority of the year. And in all honesty, right now, if I was going back to school, if I was going back to undergrad, I would own more than one foundation. And if I had this one on hand, I'd bring it to school and then I would repurchase a bigger one of this later. This is just not the play for the temperature. Like, we're still in August and even into September, this one is going to be the choice. I'm going to bring you closer so you can see what's actually going on with the skin. Okay, I think you're pretty close now. This is what the skin is looking like. It's not in a great condition, but it's also not like the worst. Like, the forehead is looking a little worse for wear. So we're gonna go in. Okay, so we are done except for the concealer. When I get up close, you can tell that it doesn't get everything. It's to me, it's like a higher medium coverage. It's not a high coverage. Like, you can still see red marks and skin coming through. It's really not perfect, but that's okay. That's good for our purposes. We don't need perfect. Now, when it comes to an everyday makeup look, there's a lot of people out there who would like a more makeupless looking makeup look, even if you're wearing a complexion product. But when I'm in a rush, it takes me so long or much longer to like faff around with a lighter coverage product to do that and concealer than just doing a medium or high medium coverage foundation. I'll get more coverage like this where I won't have to apply additional concealer or have to do a mixing of the two, at least on the face. This is just faster for me. For concealer, I have the L'Oreal Infallible. The Covergirl shade, by the way, is in warm beige back there. This one is in 330 ivory. I was really thinking between this concealer and my MAC concealer, this one that's been in the project pan for a couple of months now. These are the top two of the moment. I do like the NARS creamy radiant concealer. I do think it's nice, however the shade is just not happening for this time of year, and I'm not quite sure I would wear this kind of style of concealer right now. But with these two, I do really like this concealer. I would say it's a favorite. However, the packaging is so inconvenient that it would prevent me from using it. It's great, but the packaging is just so inconvenient. And when you're like on the go, when you're trying to do stuff quick, you don't want to have to like pump it out and then it's on your hand. What if you're doing your makeup literally on the go? It's just not it, and I can't recommend that. I do also really like the L'Oreal Infallible Full Wear Concealer. It is a full coverage concealer. Like, it will go a long way. So I'll just do a couple of dabs. It is a little bit light. Hold on, I'm gonna bring the mirror up right now. It is a little light. I'll just do a little here, here, here. Like, that's all you really need. Okay, so here she is, all blended out. I think it looks pretty good. So my powder of choice for the eyes is this Marcelle powder. I actually took out the stopper on the inside. For on the go, I would just use the face powder that I'm using. This is a huge bulky powder that I wouldn't just bring with me if I needed. This powder can get absolutely everywhere. I've been using this as an eye setting powder for actually a few years now. This is the third time I've purchased this product. I think the third. One of the very few makeup products that I've ever repurchased. I also do like the e.l.f. Their HD eye powder. I'll put the full name of it on the screen. So most of the time you'd be doing your makeup at home, which is why I would use this. I also like this as a face setting powder. I think it's, but I will also use this to set my primer. I do that all the time. If we're looking to cut out steps, I wouldn't. And I'm not gonna use this on the face today. Normally I would use two powders on the face, but we're trying to be a little bit more expedient. So I'm gonna take my NYX Stay Matte But Not Flat powder in the shade Nude. I thought you could see that, but it's really small. This is my favorite setting powder of all time. One of the reasons why I prefer a setting powder, a pressed setting powder over a loosed one, is because I think it provides a little bit more coverage, but more importantly, I think it provides a little bit more mattification. And I need that. I need all the mattification that I can get. So on my forehead only, I'll use a brush like this opposed to one like this. This one tends to pull up the powder while this one doesn't. If I'm using a loose powder, this is the brush of choice, so I always have both on hand. Just a couple of dabs. Honestly, nothing like a fresh cup of coffee. she's been sitting there for 20 minutes. I'm just gonna savor this for a second. Next up is bronzer. I have a bronzer to share with you that I've been loving. It's the Maybelline City Bronzer. I'm a pretty typical drugstore bronzer kind of gal. I've always gone to the drugstore for my bronzers. There's certain things where I could go either way. Primers tend to be drugstore. Face powders are always drugstore because I fly through them. Mascara is always drugstore. I will rarely go high-end for a bronzer. So I have the City Bronzer. It definitely looks really, really orange in the pan. But this does remind me a little bit of the Vesca bronzer. It's kind of creamy for a bronzer. I don't like a matte bronzer. I like something that, and not so much a shimmer bronzer, but something that has like a little bit of sheen to it. And when you look up close, I don't know if you can see, but up close, it's almost like micro glitters in there. You don't see it on the face by any stretch of the imagination, but I think that it's just beautiful, and I think that it suits my complexion pretty well. I have not found this bronzer to be patchy whatsoever. After that Hoola bronzer, I have become more in tune to like how patchy a bronzer can be. Now, I know most of my audience is not from Canada. They're mostly from the US. The reason why I bring that up is because a lot of you could get the Vesca bronzer, but I do have an international audience, and I also know what it's like to not be able to get something that somebody recommends. So everything that I have for you either ships international, easily accessible from like a Sephora or a drugstore, and the only thing that would be Canadian is this guy, but I gave you the alternative, this, and I do use this on my under eyes. I used it yesterday. Hopefully there's something in here if you're looking for a recommendation that will work for you. So that's the bronzer. I think it's awesome. Now let's talk about blush for a second. I love a blush. Like I love a blush. And there have been some on here that I've talked about and, you know, liking or loving. One being my MAC blushes in Melba and Mocha, and also my Bare Minerals blush. So here's the Bare Minerals, and here is Melba. I think that these are really great blushes. I've never compared them before. Melba is like a true peach, and this one is like an orangey brown. I think this works beautiful for summer and fall. I think they're both great formulas, but neither of them is an everyday color or formula for me. This one, because it's technically a cream, maybe it's just something in my head where I'm like, I can't use that every day. Mocha is more of an everyday color, but it's cool tone, and I'm not always in the mood for a cool tone. But the blush that I feel like is an everyday blush is the Tarte Party. I would 100% buy this in the full size. Here's the swatch. Here's the swatch. In the pan, I think it looks like it's gonna be maybe a little bit more cool than it actually is. It's a little bit on the peachy side. Yeah, it's a little bit on the peachy side, but it's like a peachy kind of rose color. I think yeah, it's like a peachy pink. I think it looks really nice. Maybe more pink than. So I think that this goes with most things, and I know a lot of people have this color right now. There's the color. I think it looks beautiful. It pops off way more than you would think just from looking at it in the pan. We are gonna do eyebrows next. And the unequivocal winner of the eyebrow award is the e.l.f. Wow Brow. It's just awesome. They have a couple of colors. I think it's 4. I am wearing the shade, here we go, Taupe. I have been using the Anastasia brow product. Let me get it. It's their Dip Brow Gel in Soft Brown. Not a fan of this. It's a slightly better color. It's a little bit more warm, and I think if I were to repurchase this, if I could, I would get a warmer color. I just don't like the formula in this one. It's too waxy. I mean, it's usable, very usable, but it's just not it for me. It looks very natural, almost like I don't even have any eyebrow products on. In videos, a lot of you notice when I'm wearing the Anastasia one, because I think it just makes my eyebrows pop a little bit more, whereas this one doesn't. It's a little bit more subdued. If I was in a rush, I wouldn't wear highlighter. I just wouldn't. So I'm not going to put it on. My favorite, the Becca highlighter in Opal, still my favorite highlighter. I think the Vesca highlighter is nice too, but before we talked about Vesca, I've panned and rebought this highlighter. One of the few highlighters that I could, one of the few makeup products total that I could say I've ever done that on. Now eyeshadow is the next step, and quite frankly, a lot of days, like this is what I would wear for anything right now, really. Like I would still wear this like today, not just to school. Like I'm really using some of my favorite products here. But when it comes to eyeshadow, I sometimes just like can't be bothered. But I do also know that I'm a person who loves a good eyeshadow. I'm going to talk about a couple of options at different price points. I'm ultimately going to wear the e.l.f. bite-sized palette in here, because this is just like so simple, and like when you want an everyday something that's compact, this does it. To me, this works in the inner corner, but you could also wear both of these as single shadows at different times of the year. And then if you want a more complicated look, you have the other ones there. I think that this color scheme is perfect. Another palette that I like from the drugstore is this Nudes of New York palette by Maybelline. I've talked about this a lot. This is a bigger palette. It's about $18 to $20 in Canada. This one feels really fall to me, and it does have a couple of colors in here that would be single shadow looks for me. There's maybe 3, and then you have those mattes to play it out. This would not be the palette for you if you're just into the single shadows and you wouldn't use a lot of the mattes. So I think that like this works as well. I own it. I really enjoy it and wear this most for fall. This is the palette that makes me think of fall, going back to school. It kind of gives me modern renaissance vibes, not dupes, but vibes. The high-end palette that is so worth the money to me is the Natasha Glam palette, and the reason for that is because you have so many single shadow looks in here that just like it pays for itself, in my opinion, because I'm a single shadow gal. You have so many options in here, so many. Most of it is cool, but there are a couple more things on the warm side, and then also some mattes to build it up. This is a primarily metallic kind of palette, so this is my stamp of approval. Would totally, like, I totally recommend this and love this, and I really want to use it today, but it's really not in everybody's budget. Like, it's just not. I am a champion of this palette. I love this. I'm putting it down, otherwise I won't. Okay. Another palette I love is the 3CE one. This is another compact palette. This is a palette what I use mostly when I want to build out a bit of a look. I love this one as a single shadow look. Amazing. But this is one that is the least accessible. It's from Yes Style, but I did buy it on Poshmark, so you can find some of these items around. So we're going to use the e.l.f. palette, and today we are going to use this guy right here. It's like a bronzy color. To me, this one works best when I have a tan. Look at that. It's really soft. So I'm gonna do the same thing on the other eye. You can do this look completely with your fingers, no brushes needed. I sometimes, what I like to do is take a brush just like this, something that will pick up the shadow, that isn't like a blending brush like this one. So I'll pick up some. Now this is like the bonus step. I would wear my eyeshadow just like this. I think it works. It looks cute. It looks fine. I'll use this just to like bring it up and to create a little bit of dimension. That's it. I find that if I don't bring any shadow like right up here, it looks a little bit funny. And then there it is close up. Super simple. And then what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna put on my mascara. I have creeped some of you out in the past by doing it on camera, so I won't. What I'm gonna use today is the L'Oreal Telescopic. I mentioned this in a no-buy video when I purchased it, and I was disappointed with it at first. However, this needs like a week to marinate. It just does. It gets better over some time. And then I'm gonna layer it with the Lash Princess. This is great if you have short lashes like me that point down. I think it gives amazing length. The Lash Princess is just to pump up the volume and give you a little extra something. So once I've done that, I'll come back and then we'll talk lips and liner. Okay, I do just want to show you. This is after one coat of the telescopic. So we have one coat here and then nothing here. I'm back. All the mascara is on. I have my coats. They're going on. I'm feeling fluttery. Now we are onto the finishing touches of the makeup look. The next two steps, which would be the like waterline liner and then inner corner highlight, are the two steps that have become my signature and part of my makeup look. But it's these two steps that make me feel like me, that make me feel like this is my look. And so I have to talk about a hard truth for a moment. My beloved Marc Jacobs eyeliner in Pink of Me. This beautiful, beautiful liner is no longer being sold at Sephora. The day I'm mourning the loss. So I found something else. And one of the things I've learned is that pink has been the go-to look since I've been 16. And I have never experimented with even a nude for years. And I found that I like the nude a little bit better. So I have a drugstore option that is not like the settling. It's not as great. No, this is awesome. This is the L'Oreal Infallible Longwear Pencil. This is in nude. So I'm not gonna torture you with like letting you watch me put it on, but I'm just gonna put on the waterline. This one is much more natural than the pink color. So it looks more everyday. And the pink one like really looks like I'm wearing a pink liner, but now this feels more or less makeup-y. So now we're gonna do the inner corner highlight. I do this every makeup look. If I'm wearing makeup, we're doing it. So I'm just gonna use the light color from the palette. This is a great palette. There's actually very few eyeshadows and highlights that I will wear on the inner corner. Here's my like obsession about this. I have in the past only used two other colors for inner corner highlighter other than the one that I'm doing now. I've been doing this for 10 years and I've only had two. And I will find an eyeshadow that works. One was a Rimmel shade and then the second one was a color that feels more like this. This one, if you felt this, kind of feels like it could break apart really easy, like really soft. Whereas if you think about the Becca highlighter, it's much more hard pressed. So a softer shadow, in my opinion, works best for the inner corner because you get that nice payoff. But I've been using a highlight, like a full pan of highlight for the inner corner. And this is the fourth color in like history that I like on the inner corner. So I think it looks nice. So we need to talk lip products for a hot minute. My recommendation for an everyday lip color is, I'm gonna give you a couple of options because I don't just wear a gloss every day of the week. So my recommendation is something that will be really easy to apply and you do not need a mirror to apply. I had a signature color in university. It was Covergirl. It was either called Yummy or Yummy Pink. They reformulated and changed the color, so I stopped buying it, but I had to repurchase it at least twice. Like I only owned one lipstick and that was it. I'm gonna give you a couple of formula options and then I'm gonna give you like a very specific color option. The gloss recommendation is easy. Tower 28 Fenty, my favorite glosses. I think that the Fenty Glow is a perfect all year round shade. Same with Fussy, but something like I can go back and forth on those two. Here's Fenty Glow. It smells great. It looks great. I think the Fenty Glow color will look good all year round and is a little bit more substantial than Fussy. I do like Fussy, but that one can almost feel like an almost nothing kind of gloss. This just has a little bit more. Love it. I recommend this color wholeheartedly. The Tower 28 glosses, all of the colors that I like either are like winter specific or summer specific. Like I wouldn't wear this color all year round, but I think it's a beautiful formula. A lot of people love the Tower 28 glosses and the Fenty, so it's not as though like this is a surprise. If you can find a color that you like that works as your all day everyday kind of color, then go for it. The last formula recommendation is the Revlon Shine, the Super Lustrous Shine. I've talked about this one a lot on my channel. I like this one as well because this is like a super glossy lipstick. You do get the color payoff. I'll show you now. I'll take it off to put something else on. So moisturizing and hydrating. It looks awesome. They have a lot of colors. I do have one more. Here she is. This is not an everyday color either. So these are the only two that I have, and I think that this formula is just worth just like looking into to see if there's a color that you like. And those options would be my everyday lipstick options that are like the easiest things to wear. My everyday lipstick, I don't think I've really talked about this yet. This is Modesty. It's a cream sheen, so I don't know, like it's not the most, just put it on. It's like a mauve lipstick, and it's not the most pigmented thing in the world, which is what I like about it. Easy to put on, could do it without a mirror, and it's hydrating. I think it would be really nice. So this is like a mid-tone color. I love it. I've kind of been wearing it every day this week. So I'm gonna do a couple of swatches here. Thankful by like Selena Gomez. This is the Dewy Lip Balm. It's awesome too, but this is also like a brown shade, so depending on your skin tone, this may be the everyday lip color for you. I'm gonna swatch it next to Modesty, so you can tell this is Modesty, this is Thankful. Modesty is more pink, more mauve, this is more brown. This to me is like, this is what I think of as an everyday color, and I could easily pan something like this as an everyday color. The last one is Becca Sugar. Super creamy, but also a little light. So we have Sugar, Thankful, and Modesty. It's the lightest of the three. The last, I guess, formula is this Clinique Chubby Stick. So this particular color right here is an everyday color. I could put this in my bag and wear it with most things most of the time. It's one of those things that I call like the subtle pop, where because I wear colors like this all the time, when I wear something like this, it's like a rosier color and not something that I'm used to seeing in myself. So when I wear it, I'm like, damn, like girl, like you got it going on. Like I often will feel myself. And then this looks really good. Like it's really user friendly, and I love this in the fall. So what I like about this is that it's super easy to apply. It's a chubby stick, and then the color works most of the year round. But when you're going back to school, and when I think about that subtle pop, this is a color that I think would look awesome without any eye makeup. This one on its own with eye makeup can look like its own look. Like you intentionally created this really beautiful look without eye makeup, and it just looks pulled together. It looks like elegant chic. It's a lipstick with like just a little bit of something that's not the everyday. To me, a pink lipstick like this is so everyday that doesn't feel quite the same as something like this. So often when I'm looking for something more elegant, luxurious, something that makes me feel really pulled together really quick. And I'm not doing eye makeup, especially. This does look good with eye makeup, but when I'm not doing eye makeup especially, I'll go for this guy. You know what, I'm gonna put it on. I'm gonna put it on because I talked a storm about it, and you can't just like talk about a lipstick as your favorite and then not wear it. Tell me you see what I'm seeing. This looks natural. Like, we're not wearing anything super bright, super vibrant, but it just feels a little out of the norm, special, intentional. I like it. So this color, I think I never said this color. This one is in 03 Fuller Fig. That's everything. Thank you for hanging out with me today. I hope you had fun kind of talking about some favorite everyday makeup products. Let me know some things for you that are an everyday favorite. I would love to hear about it. But that's everything from me. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again around here soon. Bye.